Leading us off is Sunoco Rookie of the Year contender and driver of the number 42 Target Chevrolet. That's Kyle Larson. And Kyle, just talk about coming up here to New Hampshire this weekend. Ever so close of getting your first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series win last week at Chicagoland. And what is your outlook for this weekend up here at the Magic Mile?
Yeah, so this is probably not one of my favorite racetracks, but I seem to run pretty well here whenever I've been here in the 3 different types of cars. It's kind of reminds me of IRP, which I like that track, so I think that kind of racing there helps me for here. It's just harder to pass here, but we finished 3rd here earlier in the year, so hopefully we can improve on that or still somewhere end up in the top 5. I thought we were a 7th or 8th place car and was able to luck out on the pit strategy things and have enough fuel to make it to the end. So it'd be nice to get a win. I just was doing an interview with Race Hub, and they said there's been 13 different winners, I think, in the last 13 years. So hopefully we can make it 14.
We'll take questions now for Kyle. We have a couple wireless mics. State your name, affiliation. We'll start here on the front row. Go ahead.
Mark Garrell, PRN. Kyle, when I look back at last week's race, and I watched the last few laps 3 or 4 times, what I thought was remarkable about that, it was how much trust these chase contenders put in you. I mean, they put themselves in harm's way fighting with you a couple of times only because of the extreme trust they had, obviously, with you. How do you feel that you've gotten to that point where these guys will absolutely put themselves on the edge, knowing that you'll put yourself on the edge and not go over the top and then wreck their championship aspirations?
Yeah, I think so. Running nationwide last year, you get to race with a handful of Cup guys, and then all season long. I think if you race them hard but don't make any mistakes around them, which cost them, you gain respect that way. And I feel like I race hard every week, and you've been lucky enough to not affect anybody, and hopefully it stays like that. But I think, like I said, if you race them hard, you give and take throughout the race, then you race them hard but clean. That's how you gain the most respect.
Let's go here to Kenny Bruce, and then we'll go to Alan Cabana. Kenny?
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Kyle, you mentioned this is probably not one of your favorite tracks, but when you look at the remaining tracks, most of them you're going back to for a second time, is there somewhere that you feel better about going to, that you really like your chances more than another track, perhaps?
Yeah, I think Kansas will be a good one for us, as well as Texas, maybe our best shot. We were running the top 5 there pretty much the whole race early in the year, and then Homestead's my favorite track. So, yeah, and you run the wall there, similar to how you do at Chicago. So, hopefully, if I can keep it out of the wall, I can be up front. But those 3, Charlotte, I think will be pretty good at. We were surprised I wasn't very good during the 600, but I feel like Charlotte's a good track for me. So hopefully we can go there and run well also.
So it's primarily the mile and a half.
Yeah, those are by far my best tracks. Martinsville is my least favorite, and be the toughest one for sure. But the mile and a halves are my best.
Let's go to Alan Cabana, then Nate Ryan, and then Reed Spencer.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Kyle, so few rookies get a chance to run up front, and with some of the best in NASCAR. What do you learn from them running up front and getting that opportunity?
Yeah, the more you run up front with those guys, the more you learn from them. And I don't know if there's a particular thing that I can say I've learned, but I'm sure in the other situations that are similar to how it was last weekend or anytime you run up front, you kind of remember that, and you do a better job the next time around. So, I think I learned a little bit about handling the air when you're behind people, and there's a bunch, like I said, but I don't really know until the situation pops up again.
Is it a huge difference, running 20th and running with a guy like Harvick or Gordon?
I don't know. I felt like last week, I was up front for most of the race, and I feel like you race even harder when you're up front rather than when you're 10th to 15th. You kind of just trying to make it to the next pit stop to make your car better, where when you have a good car and you're up front, you just race hard the whole time. I don't know if everybody else is, but I feel like I raced hard the whole race and made it a lot of fun.
Let's go to Nate Ryan, Reed, and then to Claire B. Lang.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Kyle, we've heard your crew chief talk this year and last year that talent's never been in question for you, but it's kind of knowing how to tell the team what you need in the car. Chicagoland seemed like that was a good example of you stayed up front all the way to the very end and didn't die yourself out. Do you feel like you're getting more comfortable with telling the team like what you need and knowing what you need throughout the course of a race?
I think it's what's made the biggest difference for running well the whole race is kind of understanding how I want the car to feel at the end of happy hour. Where before, first half of the season or so, in first half of last year in nationwide season, I'd always try and get the car looser and looser so I can go faster. And then you start the race and you're way too loose, and you spend the first half of the race just trying to get back to being competitive. So I think now I understand better where I want the car to feel in happy hour, where we can start the races better and kind of just go from there.
And one quick follow-up on your notation about the 13 different winners. I know you haven't raced here long, but is there anything, do you think, about this track that lends itself to producing so many different winners in a row like that?
Yeah, I don't know. They asked me that question. I really don't know. It's maybe because it seems like there's always a lot of pit strategies that go on here, and teams gamble and make it work, and maybe the fastest car doesn't always win.
We'll go to Reed, Spencer, Claire B. Lang, and then Pete Pistone.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. I don't know how many times I've heard someone say this year, I expect Kyle Larson to win a race this year, but they're not in the car. Do you expect to win a race with maybe one of the next 9?
Yeah, every race I'll sit in the motorhome and watch TV and flip through Twitter, and everybody always says, "This is your weekend," and I believe them. And so it kind of sucks when you don't win, but I definitely feel like we're really close. We've been close a couple times this year. Heck, we're just a little bit off of winning at Fontana, and then I thought we had the best, well, maybe the first or second best car last week. So if I could have done things right, could have 2 wins this season. But I think it's coming. I hope it's before the end of this year. But if not, we won't be too disappointed because we've been running well all season long. And I didn't win any nationwide races last year, and then I feel like I've been really competitive this year nationwide. So I'm sure start next year will be really good in the Cup Series.
We'll go to Claire B. Lang, Pete Pistone, and then Marty Smith.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. What did you learn looking back at the tape, or did you, about scrubbing the tires and having the tire rub? And when I talked to you down on the grid, you said, I don't really know if that's what veterans do. You were sort of digesting what it is that you need to do to compete and not go over the line. What did you think about after you digested all of that this week?
Just under yellow? I don't know. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any video of the just scrubbing our tires, and more just the racing part. So I don't know. I know I wasn't crowding him, but maybe he felt I was. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I still finished the race. I'd been more upset if I didn't.
But as you roll ahead as a rookie, you got to digest. How will you? What's your moral compass on that?
I'm not going to do anything different. Just rolling around under yellow. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. So I feel like I left him plenty of room.
We'll go to Pete Pistone, Marty Smith, Mike Vega.
Pete Pistone, MRN.com, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Following up on Reed's question, now that people expect you to win and you're not sneaking up on anybody anymore, does that kind of change your approach to know going into a race weekend, you're a guy people are looking at to contend?
I don't know. Just try and go out there each week and do the best job you can. And, yeah, like I said, I think we're close. I don't think our mindset changes anymore that fans think or expect us to win. Just go out there and try and do the best job, and hopefully it works out at the end of the race. It'd be nice to be the dominating car more often, but we'll get there. I think our target team's getting better and better each week, so let's keep working hard.
Let's go to Marty Smith, and then Mike Vega.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Race car drivers work a long time to get respect, and I know you were talking about that a moment ago. But what's that respect feel like when a guy that's for 20+ years been the standard takes the time as soon as he gets out of his car, before he even talks to his guys, and comes down and leans in your ear and has something to say to you at all, much less something so complimentary, and then to sit beside him in front of the world and see him say it to the world. What's that like?
It's awesome. I mean, before I even raced the K&N series, Jeff Gordon had a lot of respect for me and talked very highly of me. Same with Tony and Casey. But it seems like Jeff's my biggest fan over the last couple of years. So it's awesome to see a guy that, like I said in last week's media center, who's been racing in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series as long as I've been alive, to talk so highly of me. I don't even know if he's really ever talked about another driver like he has with me. So that makes it feel really special for me. Now I just want to go out there and beat him more often. So, but yeah, like I said, it's great to have somebody who's a hero to so many people, kind of be a huge fan of myself. So it's been great.
Let's go to Mike Vega.
Kyle, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Just wanted to explore the comment that you made about favorite tracks versus least favorite tracks. When you look at the chase and the whole, I mean, I know that you're not in it, but those tracks that seem to suit you well, why is that so? And why, for example, is Martinsville not one that suits your style? And what is it that makes up your favorite versus your least favorite tracks?
So I think racing sprint cars, growing up, the mile and a halves feel a lot like, the 3/8 miles, the half-mile racetracks that we raced on, where you try and carry a lot of momentum. You have to search around for different lines and stuff, and places like New Hampshire and Martinsville are difficult for me because it's different than what I've ever done. You have to get hard on the brakes, and you just run the same line the whole time. And I think a lot of the guys that grew up racing Bandoleros and Legends and late models and stuff, everything they did was on short tracks where you have to learn how to get your car around the bottom as quick as you can and get off the corner. And that's why I think I excel in the mile halves, is just because they didn't grow up learning that type of stuff where I did, even though I wasn't in a stock car. But yeah, I think I'm getting better at the short track stuff where you have to use a lot of brakes and stuff like that, but not where I need to be for sure.
Got time for one more question. Anybody have a final question for Kyle Larson? Kelly, it'd be the final one right here.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. Kyle, you and Jamie have both come on strong late. Didn't make the chase, but is there anything in terms of both the teams' mentality of how you can look at the chase and say, what can we do or what can we learn this year, go out and win races to set us up for running at it next year?
Yeah, I think since we didn't make the chase, I think you can work on 2015 stuff a little bit more. Maybe not a whole lot, but me and Jamie have been fast all year long. We just didn't get that win that we needed before the chase started to get in. I really think both me and Jamie could make it to the top 8 or whatever in the chase and possibly to Homestead. So, it's just a shame we didn't make the chase, but now we get to work on developing stuff for next season and get a head start maybe a little bit.
Cal, thanks for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.